Ever felt a love so intense, it burns everything around it? That's the heart of Wuthering Heights, Emily Brontë's dark and unforgettable masterpiece. Forget your typical sweet romance novels. TC's a wild, windswept story of obsession, revenge, and two families locked in a cycle of misery. If you're ready for a deep dive into one of English literature's most powerful tales, you've come to the right place. Our story kicks off in 1801 when a man named Lockwood rents a house called Thrushcross Grange. His landlord is the brooding, mysterious Heathcliff, who lives at a nearby, more rugged estate called Wuthering Heights. Lockwood's visit is strange and unsettling, and he ends up spending the night. That night, he has a terrifying nightmare about the ghost of a woman named Catherine, who begs to be let in. Spooked, Lockwood asks his housekeeper, Nellie Dean, to tell him the story of Heathcliff and Wuthering Heights. And that's where a real story begins, as Nellie takes us back in time. Nellie Dean grew up at Wuthering Heights, where she served the Earnshaw family. One day, Mr. Earnshaw returns from a trip to Liverpool with a young, dark-haired boy he found on the streets. He names him Heathcliff and raises him alongside his own children, Hindley and Catherine. From the start, Hindley hates Heathcliff and sees him as a rival for their father's affection. But Catherine and Heathcliff form an inseparable bond. They are wild spirits, spending their days roaming the moors, their souls seemingly intertwined. When Mr. Earnshaw dies, Hindley becomes the master of Wuthering Heights. He immediately takes his revenge on Heathcliff, treating him like a common servant and making his life miserable. Despite this, Catherine and Heathcliff's connection only deepens. One evening, they spy on their wealthy, refined neighbors at Thrushcross Grange, the Lintons. Catherine gets injured by their dog and is forced to stay with them to recover. When she returns to Wuthering Heights months later, she's transformed. She's now a proper young lady, and her friendship with the sophisticated Edgar Linton starts to blossom. This creates a painful rift. Heathcliff feels betrayed and out of place. The turning point comes when Catherine confides in Nellie that she has accepted Edgar Linton's marriage proposal. She believes marrying Edgar will give her social standing and wealth. But in a famous, heart-wrenching speech, she admits that her soul belongs to Heathcliff. She says, "Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same." Tragically, Heathcliff only overhears the part where she says marrying him would degrade her. Heartbroken and humiliated, he vanishes from Wuthering Heights without a word. 3 years later, Heathcliff returns. But he's a changed man. He's now wealthy and polished, but his heart is filled with the burning desire for revenge against everyone he feels has wronged him. He's come back to destroy both the Earnshaws and the Lintons. He starts by winning money from the now alcoholic and detritus Hindley, eventually taking ownership of Wuthering Heights itself. He also cruelly marries Edgar's sister, Isabella Linton, not out of love, but to spite Edgar and get his hands on the Linton fortune. The tension between Heathcliff, Catherine, and Edgar becomes unbearable. Catherine, torn between her love for Heathcliff and her duty to Edgar, falls gravely ill. She gives birth to a daughter, also named Catherine, but dies shortly after. Heathcliff is utterly devastated. He begs Catherine's ghost to haunt him for the rest of his life, as he cannot bear to live without her. His grief doesn't soften him. It only fuels his quest for vengeance. The second half of the novel follows Heathcliff's meticulous, decades-long plan of revenge, now directed at the next generation. He brutalizes Hindley's son, Hareton, raising him as an uneducated farmhand, just as Hindley did to him. He also manipulates the young Catherine Linton and his own sickly son, Linton Heathcliff, forcing them into a marriage to ensure he gains control of Thrushcross Grange. His plan succeeds. After Edgar and Linton die, Heathcliff is the master of both Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. He has achieved his revenge, but it leaves him empty and alone. In the end, Heathcliff becomes increasingly haunted by the memory of his Catherine. He starts seeing her everywhere and loses interest in the world and his own destructive schemes. The love story of the younger generation, between the gentle young Catherine and the rough but good-hearted Hareton, begins to mirror the early, pure love of the first Catherine and Heathcliff. As they fall in love, they bring a sense of hope and healing to the bleak world of Wuthering Heights. Heathcliff finally dies, and is buried next to his beloved Catherine on the moors. The locals claim to see their ghosts wandering the hills together, finally at peace. So, what makes Wuthering Heights so enduring? It's not just a love story. It's a powerful exploration of social class, human nature, and the destructive cycle of revenge. It shows how love can be twisted into a weapon and how passion can lead to ruin. It's a dark, challenging, but ultimately unforgettable novel that stays with you long after you turn the final page. Thanks for watching this summary of Wuthering Heights. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more literary summaries. Let me know in the comments which classic novel you'd like me to cover next.